Hi, family. How's the family doing? Just go. All right. Give some of you all some time to get in here. I know it's early morning. I'm trying to get on this live before I get out of here. Let's see what's going on. This case. Oh, child. All right. Let's see. All right, family. I want to look. Let me get in here myself. And I don't want to put my last night. I told you. I don't want to put my. Oh, I don't even know why this is like that. Okay. I don't want to put my thing there because the last time you all couldn't hear me. All right, let's see. Hi, family. Good morning, Gabri. Good morning, young girls. Good morning, family. Good morning, Gabri. Good morning. Okay, let's see. Last time, family, I put my phone. I'm gonna have to move my piece from over there. That's what I'm gonna have to do because the last time you all couldn't hear me, right? You all couldn't hear me when I had my phone up here near this gadget. So I'm not gonna move. I'm not gonna put it back over there because I think it knocks out my reception or something. I'm not sure, but it definitely interferes. All right, family. I want to look into this case, family, real quick. A young baby, 10-year-old Trinity Eslinger. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. If I'm mispronouncing it, please forgive me, family. But from what I hear, that this young girl was she went missing swimming with her parents and so forth, right? I believe they was on vacation in Florida, and they're still looking for this 10-year-old baby. I believe it's been over a week, right? I want to say one thing, right? Tapping into this energy, I don't know what's going on. Everything that I'm about to speak of is from the spiritual realm, okay? Everything is allegedly, I don't know Trinity or her family, okay? But I know when I was tapping into this energy regarding this baby, right? Because I wanted to see what I can see or feel anything or smell anything, you know, just to get an idea of what's going on with this baby that's missing. And the one thing I want to say that I picked up was the right side of her head, right, family? It was like something grazed her head, right? And it was hurting so bad. It was like the right side of the, you know, the right side, right on the right side, right? On the top of the right side of her head. And I just felt it. It's just grazed her head, but it was like so heavy, right? I could just feel it rub all against her head like that, right? And I'm like, my goodness, I couldn't even couldn't even go so further. The pain was unbearable. I don't know if that was her going underneath something, a boat going over her head, but definitely something grazed her head, and it was unbearable. So I will say that that's the energy that I've picked up. I'm gonna tap into the messages, see what the ancestors bring out, so I could get some idea of the revelation that's going on in here, family. Good morning, family. Okay, we're gonna look at 10-year-old Trinity Eslinger. Missing 10-year-old. Ancestors clarity into the situation. We're gonna missing 10-year-old Trinity Eslinger. right. I gotta look at some things going on in here. The suicidal is not that, you know, someone always have to commit suicide, family. It just lets us know that whatever's happening in here, I have to look at the destruction that you're doing, right? So what you are causing, because I gotta look at your mindset and the things that's going on, right? Again, this baby is 10 years old. She's still a baby, right? So we gotta look at her judgment, right? Her lack of judgment at that time. So this is what's going on in here. All right. Again, she's 10 years old. She's a baby. She don't have knowledge of much things. So we have to look at that, right? We also got to look at the talent in here. Um, so Ancestor said, take a deeper look at this, right? I have to look at, like I said again, the knowledge, how well equipped she was, and this could be in swimming or safety measures within swimming and things like this. So yeah, I'm seeing some things, right? This just tells me her state of mind in this whole situation. Okay. Messages, ancestors. All right. I gotta look at some secrets, so because some secrets is going on, right? And I gotta look at this employment, right? Not just the employment, but I gotta look at the secrets along her soul, and I gotta look at this. That tells me about money, right? Even proposition about money, okay? Because there's some secrets going on back here. But I also want you all to look at this left wing, right? And how to trust, right? Someone, something, right? They're not telling everything about this daughter. This energy is going both ways, right? So I got to look at Trinity and I got to look at another female, okay? Because this energy is going to go both ways. But I got somebody along her path, right? Who I got to look at, they're not telling everything, right? So sometimes these people, they tell you some things, they tell you partial story, but they don't tell you the whole story, okay? Sometimes they leave out the most important information, okay? Now, look at the gifts, the giving and the receiving, okay? So the moment of desire has come together to share with others. So you're coming together with others. You could be giving and receiving, right? Because this is what it is about. I got an illness in here, and I got this suicidal. I have to look at some of the things in here, right? And what happened in here with her coming together with others, right? And something happening, okay? She could have took ill, could have got a cramp, anything could have happened in here, right? And I got to look at her not knowing how to be able to cope with it, right? Because that's what's going on in here. So something definitely happened, right? But she may not know how to deal with that, right? In that situation. So let's just hold off on this energy. Some things coming out. All right. So I got to look at some things. Not only this baby being with the ancestors, okay? But I got to look at some things, some top secrets regarding some things, right? Somebody is in the judicial system too for some things, and it's behind a daughter. Okay, so like I said, the energy is going to shift from Trinity to another female. Okay, so I got to look at not just Trinity, but another female back here, right? Somebody's in the judicial system behind another daughter, even, right? Um, Behind their daughter, okay? But somebody's in the judicial system for some things, okay? And they're not talking about that. So it looked like somebody had got involved somewhere down the line regarding something, whatever it may be, okay? Regarding children or their child before, okay? But that's hush hush, okay? So that's some other things that's coming out. It's secrets, okay? Not only that, I'm getting information, okay, about some things regarding somebody's employment. So it's other things coming out. Here is giving and receiving this illness. I want to look at this with the clothes and something happening here. Okay. Something more is going on here as a secret. Okay. Hold off on that energy. Let's see. Okay. All right, the way this baby spread coming out, all right, because some other things is coming out, not really what I was looking for in the spread, okay? Some other ancestors decided to bring out some other revelation that's coming out. Okay, I got to look at the races behind this person who is trusted, right? Or supposed to have been trusted with this daughter in here, okay? Here's the power over the opposition. Here they're not telling everything, right? So whatever is going on here, I got somebody along this baby path, okay, who I got to look at them and being racist in some kind of way. The racist just mean that you could just be judgmental, discriminating against somebody. Also, if you know somebody need help, you don't help them, but you know, right? So I got some things that's going on in here, okay? But that's not being talked about, right? So I see that. I got some sexual conduct in here as well, right? The secrets behind here. I have to look at some things back here because somebody also, you see this in here, somebody also has been doing some violations before, right? With children, okay? But that's hush hush or under wraps or whatever's going on in here, right? So they got some things going on in here. Here's the help, right? So here's the assistance, here's some information. So somebody, a lot of these times when I get it like this could be somebody propositioning you, right? Just like this, right? Just like this. Somebody could be propositioning you, right? For things. And they give you some money, whatever. Want to touch you, want to, okay? That is coming out in her spread as well, okay? Which, anytime the ancestors, because this wasn't where I was intended to go with this spread, right? But anytime the ancestors throw out some other revelation, right? We all know that we have to pay attention to that because that's some things that's hidden from us, right? Things that the spiritual realm want us to know about because they want these things to come to the light, okay? So something more is going on in there. I'm just going to leave that there, family, okay? But ancestors said You see this male? This is information being given and information being received. Look at the talent. So look at the talent. Look at the information behind somebody's employment, somebody's sexual history with children, right? Somebody in the judicial system for some things with children. Just pay attention to that. The clothes that I have people wearing, right? Just pay attention to that because some other things is going on in there. The ancestors said take a deeper look at, right? All right. Now, here's this male, and here's the giving and receiving on top of this male. So somebody's coming together with this male. There's definitely some giving and receiving going on. What giving and receiving is going on, right? Some giving and receiving is going on in here. Ancestors already pointed out some things with some giving and receiving, okay? Here's this male. Here's the blessed right here, right? Because it's an illness here, right? So something happened to this baby right then and there, right with this male, right? Something happened. So it lets me know that whatever happened, she succumbed right here, all right? Where the blessed is. The Most High have her. The ancestors have her, okay? Something happened there. You understand, family? Right here, okay? Something more going on here as well, right? These clothes also tell me about a loss of a life as well, okay? But something happened here, right? Secret. And I got to look at somebody's state of mind as well, right? Okay. I just want to go a little deeper. I just want to go a little deeper in here because, all right, this baby is missing. We are praying for her safe return. No matter how the messages may lay, we are still praying for this baby's safe return, that this baby is found safely and returned home to a family. It doesn't matter what it's looking like. Another thing is everything that I speak of is allegedly, right, family? But I want you all to look at the messages that the ancestors is throwing out, okay? Here's some addiction going on. Here's something with food, right? The food just let me know is what you are ingesting, okay? Here's some abuse goes, and I have to look at this, right? I have to look at some addictions going on. I got to look at some things because sometimes these people will be withholding food from people, right? And they have other addictions of their own, okay? So I got some things that's going on where the ancestors is bringing out abuse in here, right? See this male? You see this blessed? I got some abuse going on here. Look at the clothes and the suicidal. So I got to look at some things, right? Somebody in here is not using good judgment, right? Going this way, right? I got some abuse going on in certain kind of ways, but the abuse is closed. So you're restricting somebody of some things, right? Clothing, what they could wear, what they should wear, food, and other addictions. This is power, control in here. So you have the need to take power and take control, and you want it done your way. So somebody in here, they're expressing their authority in here with this daughter, okay? So I have that. But it looked like they've been in the judicial system for some things too, for the same type of behavior, okay? So I have that going on. We're going to leave that there. I got to look at somebody. I got to not only have to look at sexual nature of somebody, but I got to look at somebody's sexual partner, right? And I got to look at the things that's being ingested, like I said, okay? And I know they need help from this sexual partner. And I know I'm seeing some money, right? So sometimes these people could be exchanging money and propositioning you the way that I got that come out, all right? So we're going to just leave that there. Let's go a little deeper in here because ancestors is bringing out some other things. other than what I was looking for. I'm just going to say that. Oh, child, we can get this. All right, we'll look at these siblings in a minute, right? All right, we'll look at these children in a minute because the siblings just tell me, siblings, so children, how the universe may perceive you. Okay, listen, look at that. Ancestors want us to know about something about them. Yeah, somebody definitely, yeah. Somebody definitely was in the legal system for some sexual conduct, but it's secret. So they may have had that wrapped up or something like that, right? Where they may not be discussing it. Sometimes what goes on is you don't notice, you wouldn't know about this abuse or abuse allegations. I'm just gonna say, right? Regarding a child, their daughter, or anything like that, right? Some conduct that went on in there, unless you go searching for the child. You understand? Up under the child. So I got some things that's going on that's telling me that, right? Not only that, I got somebody here is how this wheel is turning, right? I tell you, family, sometimes it's turned for one person abundance, but the other person fate. The way this wheel is turning, okay, I gotta look at somebody call themselves getting justice or revenge, right? Because of something that someone wouldn't allow them to do, right? But not only that, I have to look at how this wheel has turned, right? And situations that people have gotten away with. Okay, so we're gonna just leave that there. Okay, it looked like somebody has been in the judicial system for some things, for misconduct of their child or a child or children. Okay, for some things. It looked like these allegations stem from some sexual allegations to some kind of abuse from withholding food or whatever like that. And the sexual allegations, it could just be anything from just a touch or looking, right? Anything like that. But it tells me that I have some things that's going on that shouldn't. Okay. All right. Here's the talk, right? I want you all to look at this talk with this trickster. Okay. And the power and what they're not telling everything. Somebody here is expressing some communication, right? But they're doing it in a condescending manner in here, right? Expressing some things. A lot of this, what they're expressing is authority over here on this section. Not only that, like I said, it's some things that's not being discussed. The things that's not being discussed is the hidden things, right? Of somebody being in the judicial system for some things. It's trickery, lies, and manipulation. And I got somebody over here who is trusted, who is a trickster. Okay. Not only that, they're on Uranus realm. I got a lot of sexual energy, right? Usually when people was on this realm too with a heavy sexual energy is molestation involved. You understand, family? So I got some things that's going on in there. All right. We're going to leave that there. All right. So some things is going on. Okay. Here's the no to stop. Here's this mail. Here's the gifts and receiving, right? So I got somebody saying no to stop. Somebody need to stop doing some things. I got giving and receiving in here, right? With this mail. I'm seeing somebody trying to clean up some things. Not only is they trying to clean up their actions, but they're trying to clean it up regarding with this illness, right? So you all can imagine what's going on there. Somebody is trying to clean up the abuse here. So it's no better way than to clean up the abuse in this kind of way. And I hate to say that, right? But I'm not saying that this baby is not missing, right? That this didn't happen to this baby. But what I'm saying is more behind what has happened, right? Some things has happened that the ancestors bring it to the forefront that needs to come to the light, and it involves some type of abuse. And what happened is I have a male in here trying to clean it up. But the death in here, right? The illness, I'm just going to say, the illness behind here and her being blessed with the ancestors is being cleaned up by all is what you are seeing now. Okay, so they may be talking about the disappearance and this baby drowning in the water, but there's other things that's happened in her life, and this is what the ancestors is saying, right? There's other things that's going on, and sometimes people try to cover it up, right? And they figure they could just sweep that under the rug because, you know, the baby is gone now, right? So we're just gonna leave that there, okay? I do see the ancestors is showing that this baby is with the ancestors, right? Every way that I look at it. But I'm also seeing some other things that somebody's trying to clean up is, you know, regarding this situation, okay? So we're gonna just leave that at that, all right? We still praying. We don't stop praying no matter how the messages may lay, family, that this baby is found and returned safely to her family. I don't know this family. Everything is allegedly. All right, let's look into these siblings. Here's some things that was going on. So I got to look at these siblings. More so some children here. Here's some fighting and struggles. Here's some things going on. Let's see. What's behind this fight and struggles in here? So it's some violations going on in here. And this could be sibling rivalry. But in the mix of that, somebody could have took up for one child more so than the other, right? So one child could have got scolded for something more so than the other. So also that also will put you in a racist manner, especially when because the universe perceives you as that, because the universe sees everything that we are doing, okay? So it's kind of like even if the other person was in the wrong, you still want to take the other person word for it because for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, okay? But this is what's going on in here, okay? Like some kind of rivalry going on in here with children, but somebody, I got to look at somebody violating a child too because of it, all right? Could be taken up for one child over the other, okay? So some violations going on in here. Yeah, that's what's going on in here. Okay, let's see this. Yeah. Look into this. So somebody educating themselves on some things, on how they're going to do some things. This is a medical realm. Somebody's withholding stuff from a child too. Withholding the food and all kind of stuff like that. Clarity. Oh, that's my time, family. Yeah, exactly. Look at this. So I gotta look at your intent back here too, right? That this male needed to stop with this giving us receiving, even coming together, right? With others and what their intent is. And I hate to say that, but that's what the ancestors, I'm just bringing out. I'm just speaking of what the ancestors is bringing out. Okay, family? I'm not, that's all, right? Everything's allegedly, clarity. I don't know any of these people. I don't know all what it is. I only know what the ancestors is giving me revelation into. Look like they're going to get some things, get someone cleaning some things up. They come together with this person and here their intent wasn't the best intent either when they come together, right? It's filled with abuse and some things that's going on, some restrictions in here with the clothes, right? And the way even, you know, viewing a child and some things going on here. Child, that wanted to come out too. Yeah, right there along her path. This wanted to come out. Yeah, they try to discard some things along their path with the abuse too. Okay. Somebody in here, they got a history of abuse. And sometimes this abuse could be psychological abuse, right? And withholding things from children that children need, right? Different things like that. I'm definitely got some sexual intent, sexual nature, sexual abuse going on in there. So I have to look at that. But somebody is definitely trying to like hide they pass, okay? Hide they pass in some kind of way. I don't know what this is about, but this is what's being shown in here. Okay, like I said, I do see this baby is with the ancestors. And I hate to have to say that, but that's what I'm seeing in there. Right? Trying to see what else I can tap into. Just wheel is turning. Let's see what's going on in here. Right? So what I'm seeing is what the ancestors has thrown out, right? This baby is with the ancestors, but the ancestors want some things to come to the light that happened prior to this baby coming over to that side of the realm, to the spiritual realm. That's all I'm going to say. Here's this bond between two people. But this bond that's coming out here, right? Somebody's trying to bond with you. But I got to look too in the nature of how this person want to bond with you as well. And I got to look at some things, right? Because somebody's offering somebody money for some things, right? And it's like for pleasurable things, right? And they eyes, right? See these secrets, ancestors. Yeah. So not only do I got some secrets behind some sexual nature, I got some secrets behind somebody in the judicial system for some things. I got some secrets. Somebody want to get revenge, right? Even on this child, because some things, or this child not allowing you to bond in a way that you want to. Okay, so you're upset. Sometimes these children, right? They could lash out and they could start talking or telling some things or showing signs of some things, because I'm seeing the education in here, right? On the way somebody is also trying to do a strategy in here. So I gotta look at some things that's going on in here, right? And they're upset because you discussed some things or you said something about something, right? Because also I'm seeing some things about this trickster, so some trickery in here. I'm also seeing some things not being talked about, right? So if a child complained about somebody did something to them or something happened, you don't talk about that, right? You leave that part out, but that part could be critical information that is needed into why something could have happened, right? Or why you may have allowed something to happen, right? Why you didn't stop something from happening, right? So some things going on in here. I'm just gonna leave that there. Clarity to talk in here. You're very welcome. And that was talk two about giving and receiving. Yeah, I already know what's going on. The ancestors already put it out there. Okay, ancestors is thanking me, and so is Trinity thanking me for bringing some things to the light and talking about it. But I also know that something was going on with the giving and receiving, and it was discussed, right? So like a proposition. So somewhere in this baby's life, right, it was a proposition made about some things that shouldn't have been made, or some talk that was done that was explicit that shouldn't have been done, right? Some male has done that, okay? And the crazy thing is, it looked like it's right along the path of right where she met her demise at, over here, okay? That's what I'm seeing, right? Look at this temptation in here, right? With this male and the gifts. What are you giving? What are you doing when you coming together? What are you trying to clean up when you coming together? And of course, about her illness as well, right? So the illness is about her, drowning or whatever that they claim has happened out there, right? So what is it that you're trying to actually clean up in here, right? And about going to what? Going to retrieve who? Her? Going to retrieve. You understand? It's something more that's going on in here, right? So we discarding the bigger picture of who's along her path. That's what the ancestors are saying. And about the abuse that was going on. The abuse within the clothing, within the food, within the sexual nature. Something more happening here. Look at the bond. She need help in here, right? With this person who's trying to bond. This wheel is turning both ways, because I got to look at somebody. They want to bond with you, but they want to get something out of it, right? It's the reason why they want to bond with you, right? Right? It's not for good intent in here, the way I'm seeing. All right. Yeah, that's it. Okay. 1, 2. Let's see this trickster. Okay, so here the trickery lies in manipulation, right? That somebody is in here doing. I'm telling you, family, this trickster, the tricksters be right there in your face, acting like they don't know what happened, saying whatever. But honey, you gotta be careful with these tricksters. Here's the trickster want power over the opposition, and they're using their authority in here, right? With others, not to talk and tell some things as well. All right. So not only with this daughter, I got to look at some other things, right? They don't want things to get out. Okay. Let's go a little deeper into this trickster. Here's the time. Timing is everything. So somebody is waiting for the timing to do some trickery, lies, and manipulation, to have one over the opposition. You know why? Because of the stutter. So they don't want somebody to talk about something. They don't want something to get out. They don't want to tell something. So they was waiting for the perfect timing for something to happen, or for them to do something, okay? Or to allow something to happen. So timing is everything, family. This is what I'm seeing in here. Somebody was waiting for the perfect opportunity to wait for them to get the chance to do something. Somebody's trying to clean this up. So they're trying to cover up some of their actions of abuse that they have been doing in here, right? And even propositioning someone. And I'm not saying that somebody murdered this baby, but what I'm saying is that sometimes things that happen, and you'll see things happen, and you'll allow things to happen, right? And you'll be kind of judgmental in allowing things to happen, because you already want revenge over something else prior that has happened in there. So it's kind of like you're just, you understand? You're nonchalant about some things. So I got some things going on in here that it just don't look right. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. It shouldn't be in this baby spread. All right. I'm gonna tap into this energy before I read some of the comments. Get off of this. Let's see. So they was waiting for the perk. And not only that, because this person is a trickster. I want you all to look to at the time frame of everything. Okay? Look at the time frame of everything. Okay? Because that's important. Ancestors said timing is everything. So I gotta look at this person and the time frame things is happening. Right? Because somebody was waiting for the perfect opportunity to do something. And I got lies and manipulation in here too. So sometimes people lie about the time frame as well on top of that. Because I got a trickster in here, right? So some things going on in here. Let's look at this. Clarity, ancestors. Because somebody has been in the judicial system for some addictions before. And for a female, okay? I'm just going to say that before regarding some things. And what's coming out is some sort of abuse. The abuse looks like restrictions of food, some clothing, sexual things is going on in here, okay? So I'm just going to leave that there, right? Just go a little deeper into here. All right, so the ancestors is just bringing out, because it's important for us to know, family, what led up to things, right? Or things that happened in a person's life before a tragedy or anything like that. So we can understand what is going on, right? Or how did we get from point A to B, okay? Sometimes people allow these things to happen, right? They wait for the perfect opportunity to allow certain things to happen. All right, clarity, ancestors. You see the stolen? The stolen just mean to steal, a thief, to take away, right? I gotta look at some things, right? Taking away some things, right? So they got a history, right? The addiction just tells me a history of things, right? Something you constantly doing. So they got some things that's going on where they constantly taking things away, right? And I gotta look at that, because what are you taking away? Food, clothes. This is, you're being racist in this way, so it's kind of like a punishment that you're doing in here. All right. You spewing some sexual intent, right? On a child in here. This is what's going on in here, right? They have a history of doing this. You understand? They got a history of doing this. They already been in the judicial system for some things. This or has already been talked about before with people in higher ups. Okay? But for some reason, it's like under wraps, right? It's concealed. There's secrets in here. So sometimes children can talk about this with their therapy, with the counselor, but it never got too far as where, somebody could have went to jail. But they could have went before a judge before, could have expressed some things, could have got out of it. But it's true. Yeah, they got a history of doing this. All right? So I'm just going to leave that there. Somebody got a history of doing this. Right here. Somebody that's trusted in here. They got secrets. All right? So we're going to just leave that there. They got secrets in here. Right? And this is too how they do things out of deceit and a revengeful way. They rebellious in here. Do rebellious things. All right, so I'm going to leave that there, right? We praying for this. And I'm sorry, family. I was looking for something else, right? I thank the ancestors in spiritual realm for all that they have brought out to the light. But I was looking for something else, right? But the ancestors decided to throw this out. So I'm just a messenger. So I'm just only revealing the messages that the ancestors throw out. Okay. There's no doubt that something happened to this baby's head because I felt it, right? I felt, like I said, I don't know if she went under something, under a boat or under something or whatever, but something had grazed her head and it just went just like this across her head and it was so painful. So I'm not sure. That could have been her going under the boat, okay? I'm just going to leave that there, right? Family, you all can look at the spread and be the judge of it, okay? That's the messages that I'm seeing, right? Somebody's trying to bond with her in a way that they shouldn't be, okay? And I have some secrets going on in here where I have someone in here, they're not telling everything. They tell some things, but they forget to leave out but they leave out the most important part. They forget to tell the most important part, right? Of before this happened, you know, XYZ, or somebody was accused of XYZ. Yeah. You leave out the most important information, and that could be the critical point of why something happened. Okay? So we're going to just leave that there. We're still praying for this baby. We don't stop praying. We're praying that this baby is found. Okay? Somebody's discarding a lot of things the ancestors have said about this person's path. Right around here. Somebody's discarding a lot of stuff about this person's path. So this be people, they get wind of information about their path, or they could just their intuition could tell them some things, right? But they ignore it. Right? They see these things, red flags, and they ignore it. So I'm gonna say that all right, let's see what you all are talking about. Hold on 1 second, family. Some other things going on in here. That's what the ancestors is bringing to revelation, okay? This baby's with the ancestors, but some other things is going on in there. I'll do a second spread on her, okay, if she's not found, okay? Family said, thanks. I have not heard of this case. Yes, Chrissy, I'm just hearing about this case. A lot of family have been reaching out to me, so I said I will put this case up there. May this baby get justice spiritually and physically. Yes, all in the cards. Hi, Wealthy. Chrissy said abuse. Yeah, it's some abuse going on. That's a secret, right? In a secret position. Some abuse going on, and that's the secret. Somebody is doing some abuse in here. I got a male in here along the path that's doing abuse, and they just discarding the abuse that has been going on in here, right? Talking to a child in a condescending manner and everything that's going on in here. So we're going to just leave that there. Somebody just got a history of doing these things, right? Taking control and doing things, expressing their authority and different things like that. The higher ups already know. So it lets me know that a daughter have already told about these things before. Okay, somebody's daughter. And the energy is shifting from Trinity to another female. Okay, so I got to look at that, and I got to look at not just her not knowing how to deal with some things, right? Although she was educated on some things, right? Not just her not knowing how to deal or cope with some things, the way I got the suicidal here, but I got to also look at the suicidal mindset of this person, of this male that's in here, okay? That he's not using proper judgment on how he's doing things, right? And an abuse that's going on in there. You're doing psychological abuse, right? You're doing psychological abuse to the daughter. So you're doing trickery in here. You're doing psychological mind games in here as well, right? All right, we're going to leave that there, right? We're praying for this baby. Tangela said, ancestors bring out what needs to be known. I shade to that. Chrissy said, don't apologize, Miss T. It's always important to know. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Hi, Zumbios from Australia. How are you? So we know universe sees everything. We can't hide. Exactly, Chrissy. Yes. It's 9:40 Wednesday night here. Oh wow. Our Wednesday's just beginning. Right? Our morning is just beginning, and it's you all night. It must be beautiful out there in Australia. You're very welcome, Gabri. Yes, so some things that's going on in here. All in the card says, sad how they did this baby. Yes, ma'am. Chrissy said, either way, if not related to incident, these things are important. It all has relation overall. Yes, yes, Chrissy. Due to someone might have not stepped in to help when needed. Exactly, right? Exactly. And somebody is propositioning someone along here, right? And this crazy thing is the realm that I have you in, right? You're trying to utilize somebody to please you, right? With the intent or enticing them with money. Okay, I give you $1, do XYZ, take off XYZ. You want the $1? You understand? It's things going on in here, and the restrictions, taking away some things, clothes and food. What are you doing? What's going on in here? Some things going on in here that the spiritual realm is bringing revelation regarding. That it looked like some dark secrets that have been going on there that need to come to the light. So there's some other things going on in there. Okay, other than this baby just disappearing. And that's the thing, folks don't understand, right? When the spiritual realm bring things out, they bring out the deepest, darkest secrets. Sometimes it's things we don't even want to come to the light. That's the things they bring to the light, right? Spiritual realm, that's the things they bring to the light. They even do it, they do it with us, so we already know. The things that we sit there and be like, oh goodness, I hope they don't bring that out, and it comes right on out, right? So some things going on in that case, family. We just gonna pray. I see the ancestors have her, so she's soaring with the ancestors. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But we're still praying, right? We're still praying for this baby. I'm just going back up. Tansha says someone pushed the daughter to mom while rescuing them. Mom pushed her to the boyfriend to help her out. Mom thought boyfriend or other man had Trinity. Boyfriend and other man thought mom had Trinity. I'm not, no comment, right? Because and let me tell you something, and this is just me, right? Everybody's not the same. Everybody's not gonna react the same, and we don't know how we're going to react in a time of a crisis. Okay, but my child, I'm not pushing my child at anybody, right? I'm holding on to my child for dear life, whatever's going on in the situation, right? So if my child going, I'm going too. And if I'm going, I guess my child may be going if I'm holding on to my child for dear life. You understand, family? So it's some things we got to be mindful of, right? We need to protect our children. We ought to protect us first before a boyfriend or anybody else. Us as a mother, we ought to, number one, protectors of our children. But again, I see some things have been being ignored and discarded in her spread when you look at her spread. So I'm just going to leave it there, right? Because still this mama is grieving over some things, but I'm seeing a lot of red flags in here regarding the male, and I'm seeing some things, a lot of things being ignored. So I'm just going to leave it at that, right? We still praying. We don't stop praying. But it's some things going on in here, okay? That's all I'm gonna say, family. I'm gonna get off of here because I have a long day today and I gotta go to work, and I have my alarm set, and I'm already like a half an hour over my alarm, well, 20 something minutes over my alarm past the time, right? So I'm gonna say I love you all, family. You can all keep me posted in here regarding this baby Trinity and her safe return. Family, keep me posted in this case. And like I said, if they don't find her, I will do a second spread on this baby. All right. For my family that's on Patreon, I'll see you all tomorrow on Patreon. Okay. Love you all, family. Have a prosperous day.